Welcome to News9 Mediaverse, and you are watching On Point with me. A major security breach happened in Lok Sabha today, exactly 22 years after the parliament attack of 2001. Two persons sitting in the visitors gallery suddenly jumped into the Lok Sabha chamber and they used smoke canisters. MPs caught the two intruders inside while the two other suspects were caught outside. Parliament was in a tizzy. In all, there were 6 suspects who knew each other and, according to police sources, had stayed together at a house in Gurugram. The hunt is on for the 2 other allegedly involved. Lok Sabha Speaker has offered a review of the security of measures in Parliament. The incident on the anniversary of the 2001 terror attack raises disturbing questions on Parliament security and the lapses that could have led to a bigger tragedy. How could the intruders breach all checks and get inside with the smoke canisters inside their shoes? Parliament was already facing threats from anti-India Khalistani outfits. Should heads roll in the security establishment for this? We will take these questions to the guest, but before that, let me take you through some of the important points. Then I'll show you what happened in 2001 and then what happened today. But let me take you through some of the important points first. Let me play out them for you. The most important thing, parliamentary security, Delhi Police, NSG, SPG and IB involved. It's multi-layered. It's a multi-layered security. Let's move on to the second graphic. Visitors are frisked and bags checked at thrice. Multiple level of checks are there. So it's not a one level check. Door frame, metal detectors and modern gadget use. You have people who can identify chemical signature. The van is outside. Security officer ensure proper checking of passes. There is an intelligence vetting system in operation out there. It's not possible to get a pass like that. Passes can only be assigned by MPs. Even journalists who go to Parliament are vetted by security agencies. Only PIB accredited journalists can get it quickly. Others need to be vetted by Delhi Police. Each visitor passes a unique ID. It's layered. Everything is there in the system. Radio frequency tags control vehicle access. The new parliament is even better than the old parliament. Supervisory security officers make frequent rounds. Everything is connected. The fact of the matter is that they rigged the rules and they went inside the house, jumped from the gallery. Let's go to the other graphic. Who are the suspects? Sagar Sharma from Lucknow, Manoranjan Gowda from Bengaluru, Anmol Shinde from Maharashtra, Neelam Kaur Singh from Jinn, all from different areas, all Facebook friends. Different areas. How did they hatch this conspiracy? How did they use the inside of the parliament? How did they know that they could jump from there? Older parliament, it's impossible to jump. Someone would have broken the leg or the spine. They would have jumped on the seat himself. How did they know they could jump there, land on the floor? Because in Lok Sabha, I have covered it. You tried doing from the visitors gallery, you would break your neck. Why? Because you would land yourself on chairs made of wood. So how did they know that they would land there? Who did the recce for them? I mean to say, was it a technical recce? How did they do it? These are all the questions, and these are the visuals. First, let me play out the visual. These are the visuals. This is the intruder. Look at him. Look at him. And this is on the anniversary of the terror attack that killed people inside parliament. I had covered the attack. This is 2001. I was outside the parliament. This is 2001 attack, and it is not a joke. I never thought in my career, which spans from 1998, 25 years, that I would get to cover that time from the spot and today from the studio where intruders went inside the parliament. This is the terrorist attack, and this is just to remind you the gravity of the situation. Men died. Every year on 13th, we remember them, those who fought. And this time, imagine if the gas was of dangerous nature, or sort of a different proportion, or a poisonous gas, chemical agent. There are no marshals in the house because you are not supposed to be there. It's the most secured area, that is why it's clear. If Prime Minister would have been there, SPG from there would have come into operation. I mean to say, it's disheartening that you can build the best system in the world, spend best money in the world. This shatters the confidence. It's like, Israel can have the best system in the world, but Hamas walks through. You can have the best system in the world. Someone jumps and has the ability to use this gas. On this subject, I'll be joined by Shyam Singh Yadav, Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha, Anil Chaudhary, former Secretary Internal Security, Ministry of Home Affairs, P.K. Mishra, former Additional Director, SPG and former ADG CRPF, and RVS Mani, author and former Under Secretary, Lok Sabha. A very warm welcome to all of you. I'd like to go to Mr. Chaudhary first. Sir, in your opinion, where did the basic breach took place?
Thank you. It is indeed a shocking incident of breach of security in a highly secure premises. When I was in the Home Ministry, Internal Security, this Parliament security was part of our duty. And we had put in position a 3-layered security. Watch and ward inside the hall from the Lok Sabha security. Then at the entry point, there was the Delhi police checking people who were entering, and outer perimeter was manned by the CRPF. Now, in addition, we also had watchers inside who used to keep a watch from the Intelligence Bureau, from the State Police Intelligence Unit, who used to keep a sharp vigil on the appearance and the propensities of all who came, especially the visitors gallery, not the MPs. The MPs are safe, but the visitors gallery is a vulnerable section which needs special care. But in this case, you see the fact that they entered inside and with these smoke canisters and were able to hurl the canisters is, well, to say the least, shocking. I recall in 2001, when the armed attack on the our parliament took place, I was posted in Washington, D.C., so the then Joint Secretary Security of Parliament House, one Mr. Mishra, he came to Washington, D.C. to study the security arrangements in the U.S. Congress. And he said he will submit a report to make this parliament impregnable by any intruder. I wonder what has happened to that report. Mr. Mishra's report must be there.
Mr. Chaudhary, I have a point to make. I have covered this parliament, 25 odd years of journalism. In fact, the system that were installed, half of them were put out of use in the old parliament because they impeded with the circulation or the way MPs would use it. I am also joined by RVS Mani, former Under Secretary Lok Sabha. Sir, in Lok Sabha, there's a protocol in place. The way you sit, how you sit. You can't lower yourself. But in this case, how did they know that they can land? Because in Lok Sabha, if you would have tried doing it from any gallery, you would have broken your legs because you would have landed on the chairs. How did these guys know that they can land on their feet? I'm asking a very technical question.
Perfectly right. Perfectly right. So basically, the earlier parliament, I have seen it. I have worked there for 6 years, 7 years. I have been posted there on deputation. And yes, anybody would have tried to jump around 22 feet from the visitors' gallery would have certainly been hospitalized. But I have not seen the present thing, but there has been some recce. Somebody has done a recce for them, technical recce for them, given out a handout. So it is not that the 4 persons attacked it's a lone wolf type of a thing. It is much beyond that. The reason is just to send a message that the parliament, the new parliament, is not impregnable. You have, Mr. Chaudhary, respected Mr. Chaudhary, had already explained about the perimeter security, the internal watch and ward, and the larger the lobby security, etc., the procedures there. I am sure they have been mutatis mutandis replicated in the new Parliament House. But this new Parliament House, the layout has to have been rekeyed by somebody. Somebody has been helping them. That is number one. Number two, how did they enter with the canisters, 2 canisters with this David? As you said, it could have been a biological gas, it could have been a highly potent chemical gas. All that entirely agree. But how did who? And that part is always with the watch and ward. That entry point is always with the watch and ward, and also people do frequent. There is a system of senior security officials in the whole both these parliament, both the secretariat. They do random walking around in the new place. Just check the random checking is also done. How do they circumvent all these?
Mr. Mani, I have covered both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and I'll tell you, the first thing which happened to me in Lok Sabha was I was sitting like this. I was pulled up. I said, "Is this?" And I was pulled up because 2001 was the first time I could enter the. I was pulled up, and I was told that we are supposed to sit like this. Then because seniors or PTI, UNI, they had the first row seats in both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. So sometimes when there were not many people, you could go there. So I was like sitting on the side where the Prime Minister would sit, and I was like looking at the Prime Minister, and I was like pulled back and said, "You have a pen here. Suppose it falls on the Prime Minister." So I mean to say, you had people watching over, and then when you had those galleries when people would come, civilians, you had Rajya Sabha members, the family members of Lok Sabha, but you had the visitors gallery. In every row, there was a person standing like this from watch and ward.
Shake your hand like this, head like this.
They would be standing like this. So if anyone would like get up, they knew that someone had get up. Today, I'm not in the Parliament, but all those memories are kicking back to me. How did he do that?
I want to make a small point.
Okay.
Mr. Chaudhary has been a secretary, internal secretary to the government of India. If he had to go to the Parliament, whatever was the Parliament, today's Parliament or the yesterday's Parliament, see the amount of frisking he would have undergone. Even I don't think those days even the cell phones were allowed. Now also only secretary or with prior permission it is allowed for not only in the Parliament House, for a meeting in the Sansad Sound. It will be absolutely rigmarole, complete rigmarole, 3 times, 4 times checking and all. He can narrate it. So that is the level of prevention we are taking. Of course, 2001 onward, a lot of things said, RFID, parkings, and that road between the Transport Bhavan and Gurudwara Rakabganj, that was closed and taken over by the Parliamentary Security, and entry from the Parliamentary Library building also was facilitated. So many things happened. But in spite of all that, if he had, Mr. Chaudhary could recall, if he had to go see amount of frisking or amount of security paraphernalia he had to pass through, that was the level of security, and that for a senior government officer in charge of the internal security of the country. So how that 4 citizens could, or 2 citizens could
absolutely, sir,
walk through without any
absolutely, Mr. Chaudhary, I'll come to you. Mr. Mani, I'll come to you. It's just time for a small break, and let me tell you a story. On November 26, 2008, Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists with the help of Pakistan carried out the worst terror attacks in India's history. Despite public anger, the Indian government chose not to retaliate. Former NSA M.K. Narayanan recounts why India did not seek revenge for 26/11.
The scale of the attack was something that we were surprised at. David Hadley was a double agent. The Americans did not want him to be fully exposed, so all that he probably shared with the Americans was not shared with us in terms of intelligence. If we had that, I'm sure that we would have been able to deal with the situation far better.
This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.
So one thing is the lapse, and another thing is reaction. I was outside the parliament and I know how the reaction took place. I know how people immediately neutralized the terrorists. But Mr. Mani, in this, I am not showing the visuals because, you know, there are rules of the parliament and I respect it. I am not showing it. Mr. Mani, the intruder was, I will not use the word neutralized, but was given a good and well deserved thrashing by the honorable member of parliament in the well of the house. Mr. Mani, the question is to you. Okay, I think there's an audio problem with Mr. Mani. Mr. Chaudhary?
Yes. You see, the security cover is as strong as the weakest link. It's the primary principle of premises security. And number two, thank God, I mean, there has been breach not at one place but several places. Let us not only blame the watch and ward staff. What about the checks which were enforced at the entry gate of Parliament, at the gates of the Parliament House? I am not aware of the new Parliament building. What are the built-in precautions? But in the old Parliament, it was like a fortress. You could not enter, and it was solid red stone, which could. And you know, we know how the MPs, including the then Prime Minister, was saved by brave men who were guarding the premises from outside.
Sir, the good part is that at that point of time, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was not in the house, and today again the Prime Minister was not in the house. Mr. Mishra, I'll come to you, but there's a visual I'll play up, and then I'll go to Mr. Mishra. Let's play up that visual, and let's put the NAT up.
लोगों की लिए भी हैं। गिर गया? सभा की कार्यवाही 2 बजे तक स्थगित की जाती है।
Listen to this again. Listen to the response. Let's play this again.
लोगों की लिए भी हैं। गिर गया? सभा की कार्यवाही 2 बजे तक स्थगित की जाती है।
So there was a panic. The chair immediately realized what had happened, but the chair didn't move. People immediately realized what had happened, and the MPs got hold of him. Mr. Mishra, you know, I spoke to you earlier. We spoke on various aspects, but there's one point, you know, which stayed in my mind. In future, because every act of this will create a precedent. Do you think that this jumping will create a precedent?
Yes, it has earlier happened also in old Lok Sabha. In one instance, 2 persons also jumped. And it has again happened this time today, just on 22nd anniversary of the incident which happened in 2001. I can well tell you that, as Mr. Mani was telling, in the old parliament, even though they jumped, they were injured and they were captured. But here the height is less. And as people are telling that only 6 are involved, it's not that. The planning has been done much before. And like in 2001, the planning was made by ISI and LET and Jais Mohammed much before. This was also recce. People have informed these people how to penetrate into parliament and how to jump and what is to be done. So I hope this interrogation and investigation, what is going on for after inquiring into the matter and looking into the aspect of various information being collected from them and their nexus also outside, it will be known as to why they have entered and what they were shouting, what was the aim of penetration. But I can well tell you, it is a big security lapse
big security breach. And in the parliament, you see, at the time of, while entering in the reception, you are being checked. Coming to the building gate, you are being frisked, and technical check is being carried out, and technical gadgets are there, baggage scanners are there, and they are 3D baggage scanners. Then at the place of getting into the gallery, public gallery, you are again frisked. And in public gallery also, both the sides, Lok Sabha watch and ward people, the trained people, they are also standing. I can well tell that yes, if a man jumps from there, these 2-3 persons, those who are there in the gallery, they should have also jumped from there to catch hold of this chap instead of just watching as a spectator. You can see that it is only the marshal who was coming out from the speaker's chair, and he wanted to come and capture him, because there are no other security persons available in the well, excluding the marshal. So one person will be of no help. You have seen now 2 persons have jumped, and this man has already blasted the canister, and the gas was there, yellow gas was there, yellow smoke was there. Thanks God that it was not poisonous gas. But in the zoo, I am very sure people can bring weapons, small pistols, improvised explosive devices, and also drugs and explosives also can be brought in the zoo, and it happens everywhere in most of the airports in all over the world. So one has to be very cautious, and I'm very aghast to know at all these 3-layer security, how come these 2 persons could penetrate taking this thing, and how could
But you know,
jump?
Mr. Mishra, did you also notice one thing, that immediately I don't know if I'm wrong, the chair was not evacuated immediately. You know, I saw the chair adjourn the house, but the evacuation of the chair did not take place. You know.
Yeah, it's correct. It's not only the evacuation of chair. It's not only the evacuation chair. It is the evacuation of all the members.
I mean to say, Mr. Mishra, if this would have happened in Congress, that the first person to have left the Congress would have been the person who heads the Congress.
No doubt, yes, you are correct. The evacuation drill should have been followed, and honorable MPs and ministers and cabinet ministers, those who are sitting, including the chair, the speaker, they should have immediately left the place instead of sitting there, because you see, you do not know, the man could have purchased weapon also. And when he threw that canister, in fact, both the honorable speaker, honorable MPs, those who captured him, they could have been attacked also by him if he would have been having a knife with him. Thanks that he was not
I'm really
having
sorry,
a
I'm trying
knife
to stop
or
you.
having a
I am also joined by Shyam Singh Yadav, member of Parliament Lok Sabha. Sir, can you tell me, sir, what happened? हुआ क्या था वहां सर उस वक्त?
देखिए भाई, संसद बहुत पीसफुली, शांतिपूर्वक ढंग से, सुचारू रूप से चल रही थी, और 0 आवर में माननीय सांसद जी अपनी बातें रख रहे थे जो महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दे होते हैं। हम ऑनरेबल चेयरमैन की तरफ मुखातिब थे, तो पीछे से एक बहुत आवाज आई, धमकी और चिल्लाहट हुई, तो पीछे मुड़ के देखा तो 2 लड़के गैलरी से, विजिटर गैलरी से कूद गए थे नीचे। एक ने कुछ टार्च की साइज का कोई छोटा सा उसके हाथ में था, कुछ जलाया, जिसमें से येलो स्मोक बहुत तेजी से निकल रहा था, और कुछ उसमें स्पार्किंग भी हो रही थी, जैसे फुलझड़ी जलाते हैं। और दूसरा जो है, वो मेज पर कूदते कूदते एक से दूसरे, तीसरे, चौथे पर वो अध्यक्ष की कुर्सी के नजदीक पहुंचने की कोशिश कर रहा था। जब आधा दूर गया ही होगा, 6-7 लेयर पार किया होगा कुर्सियों की, तब तक सिक्योरिटी वालों ने और ऑनरेबल एमपीज ने 5-6 दौड़ा करके उसको पकड़ लिया। उसके पहले उसने अपने जूते से कुछ चीज निकाली, और कुछ ऐसा मैकेनिज्म रहा होगा कि मैच बॉक्स से जलाने का तो टाइम नहीं था, कुछ मैकेनिज्म रहा होगा कि वो अपने आप जल गया, और उसी तरह से येलो स्मोक निकलने लगा। पूरे हाल में दोनों येलो स्मोक से,
श्याम सिंह जी, आप कह रहे हैं कि वो, श्याम सिंह जी आप कह रहे हैं कि वो अपने आप जलने लगा, अपने आप जलने लगा, आप ये कह रहे हैं?
ऐसा है, क्योंकि देयर वाज नो टाइम टू इग्नाइट इट, देयर वाज नो टाइम, नॉट ए सेकेंड टाइम, क्योंकि वो पहले तो वैसे एक मेज से दूसरे मेज पर कूद रहा था वो, बाद में जैसे उसको पकड़ने की कोशिश हुई उसने अपना जूता निकाला और संभवतः टीवी कवरेज में देख सकते हैं, सीसीटीवी में, कि शायद उसी में से वो सामान निकाला और वो भी उसी तरह से जलाया जैसे पहले वाला लड़का वो अपनी जगह खड़ा होकर के वो जला करके, उसको पहले वाले को तो कोई शुरू में पकड़ने की कोई हिम्मत नहीं किया, वो थोड़ी देर तक तो वो जलाता रहा, घुमाता रहा। दूसरे लड़के ने जब निकाला और भागते हुए मेज के ऊपर दौड़ते हुए, तब लोगों ने उसको पकड़ा और उस समय उसने भी वो येलो स्मोक वाला इक्विपमेंट जला लिया था। तो लोगों ने उसको पकड़ा और जाहिर है कि गुस्से में कुछ थोड़ा उसकी पिटाई भी की और फिर सिक्योरिटी पीपुल को उसको हैंड ओवर कर दिया। मेरा ये कहना है कि विजिटर गैलरी की ऊंचाई इतनी कम है कि अगर इसको ठीक नहीं किया गया तो आगे आने वाले दिनों में इस तरह की और भी घटनाएं हो सकती हैं।
पर श्याम जी, मुझे पता, बिल्कुल आप सही कह रहे हैं, पुरानी लोकसभा में अलग है, राज्यसभा में तो बहुत ही ऊपर है, लेकिन इसमें एक महत्वपूर्ण चीज है। आपने कहा कि एक आदमी जलाने की कोशिश कर रहा था, उस पर कोई पाउंस नहीं किया सर, मतलब उसको किसी ने पकड़ा नहीं, उसे वो वक्त मिला 2-3 मिनट की वो उसे ऑन कर पाए।
देखिए, जो 2 लड़के कूदे थे उसमें से जो पहला लड़का था कूदा था वो वहां खड़ा ही था, वो स्मोक वाली चीज को घुमा रहा था, हाथों से घुमा रहा था, स्मोक उसमें से निकल रहा था। तो कुछ देर तक तो उसको लोगों ने पकड़ने की कोशिश नहीं की, थोड़ी देर बाद पकड़ा उसको। और दूसरा लड़का वो तुरंत मेज पर कूद करके एक मेज से दूसरे पर वो उधर चेयर की तरफ भाग रहा था, क्योंकि अगर वो पैसेज से भागता तो वहीं पैसेज में लोग उसको बहुत जल्दी पकड़ लेते। चूंकि वो एक मेज से कूद करके बचते हुए दूसरी मेज पर भाग रहा था तो उसको थोड़ा पकड़ना मुश्किल था, लेकिन लोगों ने उसको फिर पकड़ ही लिया। और पकड़ने के पहले उसने
जी श्यामलाल जी, प्लीज स्टे विथ मी, डू नॉट गो अवे, इट्स टाइम फॉर अ शॉर्ट ब्रेक, आई विल बी बैक क्विकली बट ऑन द सेम स्टोरी।
ChatGPT. It can generate codes and human-like responses through text, write stories, and do a lot more.
I work in a newsroom with anchors, researchers and scriptwriters, graphic artists, producers, video editors, camera crew. But does a newsroom really need them today?
All of us have to think about unique and distinctive value addition that cannot be automated or repeated or replaced by a machine.
ChatGPT may kill many companies.
A human has to be in the loop with an ability to control this.
Dark Side of the Boom. Streaming now.
Bangalore traffic is an example of something that has gone wrong with our system.
We have more than 50 flyovers in Bangalore city. If flyover is a solution to traffic problem, Bangalore should not have traffic problem.
According to TomTom Traffic Index 2022, Bangalore is ranked as the second worst city in the world when it comes to traffic.
The speed limit at the ORR is 80 kilometers per hour, but our vehicle has only moved 10 kilometers per hour.
What Bangalore needs is a surgery, but what we have been offered repeatedly are band-aids.
Only on the world's first news OTT. News9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
Currently, the industry is facing a lot of challenges as far as demand is concerned. Basically, the US markets has slowed down because of high inflation.
So obviously, diamonds being a dream product, something which doesn't have a utility value or is seen as a luxury. So that obviously goes off your shopping list. That's the first item that will go off your shopping list, especially in recessionary trends.
That lab-grown diamonds are not mined, and they do away with the entire mining. So they save up on all the environmental damage that is associated with mining, and of course, the mining cost, which is why they're even more affordable.
People that is impacted by all these recessions are the artisans, are the people who work in this industry, right? But I think lab-grown diamond has allowed them to actually use their skills in the same product.
This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. Download now.
So welcome back. We were speaking to Shyam Singh Yadav, member of Lok Sabha. He was inside the house. Mr. Chaudhary, he made one very categorical point, if you heard him. He said, एक व्यक्ति कोशिश करता रहा उसे जलाने की. Mr. Chaudhary, this is a question for you. And he got the time to light it. The honorable member of the parliament is saying वो कोशिश करता रहा.
कार्तिकेय जी, मेरी समझ से कुछ उसको स्मोक को करने के लिए कुछ जरूरत नहीं थी ये, और दूसरा उसमें मेटल भी नहीं था. कई ऐसे होते हैं, आपने देखा होगा, जो पार्टीज वगैरह में भी स्मोक बिछाने के लिए, कलर के लिए ऐसे अपने आप खुल जाते हैं. दूसरा पॉइंट है, देखिए, जहां पर कई सारी एजेंसीज इन्वॉल्व हैं, उनमें कोऑर्डिनेशन होल्ड्स द की of success of the security system. The coordination is necessary between the Parliament Watch and Ward, the Delhi Police, the Rapid Action Force, the CRPF. Yahan par coordination, in my view, was lacking. Somebody has to be overall responsible and present and coordinating, which in this case was not done. I don't think it is a terrorist conspiracy, because if it were, they would not have just given this color smoke. Other thing, I think they were just looking at creating a sensation. They were all youngsters belonging to different phenomena.
Fair
I don't
enough,
know
Mr. Chaudhary. Mr. Chaudhary, I get the sense of proportion. I respect that. There were youngsters trying to create a sensation. But I'm saying, in fact, Mr. Mishra, if they wouldn't have been youngsters, there would have been some trained people who had the capacity to weaponize a pen, who had the capacity to weaponize paperweight, who had the capacity to weaponize the sharp utility available there on table, like laptops. Then what? It would have become a different ball game.
I can well tell you, even though in this case neither weapons were used nor gas was poisonous, but what question you have asked me, that could have happened. It's not that it was not planned by ISI or Jaish Mohammed or Lashkar-e-Toiba or by Pakistan that we got away with, and only these youngsters, they wanted to make a hue and cry in making a sensational case in Parliament. No. This involves a big criteria, because I'm telling you, this shows that the new Parliament, the security can be breached.
Correct.
And security has already been breached. And here, the heads must roll. You cannot tell that it is not poisonous gas. You cannot tell that smoke candle has to be lit. Like, see, smoke candle, the moment you bring it out, automatically the gas will come. There is no need for lighting it and all. One can bring detonators with time device in the suits. So, whatever Sagar and Manoranjan, they have done it. Even though they are just normal, younger generation, just for normal sake they have done it, and they have no contact with any militant group or ISI or Lashkar-e-Toiba or any other militant group. But you cannot take it lightly. Let us see where the investigation goes.
Mr. Mishra, it's like this. It's like this. Mr. Mani, am I audible with you? It's like this, am I audible to you, Mr. Mani?
Right, you're audible.
It's like when the Capitol took place, it was not about hooligans running towards the Capitol. It was a statement of American democracy, peaceful transfer of power, and how security system steps in. It was about that. So today, the breach is not about a canister. It's about that you have built a new system and someone can breach it. 4 people from 4 different parts of this country can breach it. So, larger conspiracy angle will need to be probed. Was this a message which is being given? I mean to say, on the 13th they have done it. People will definitely
that
make
is what
22.
is unfortunate.
That's so unfortunate. And it's not a joke. People think it's not a joke. I was there, sir. I have seen people being thrown off the ledge in 2001. And then I realized that this was the CRPF guy who got shot on his leg. So it's not a joke, sir. I have seen that 20 years ago.
Right.
As a young journalist, I have seen that. Mr. Mani.
Yes, I entirely agree with you. I entirely agree with you that now it has been exposed, the fault lines have been exposed, that it is no more a fail-safe security system which the highest institution of the country deserves. So I am sure the people will get into it. As regards coordination, Mr. Anil Chaudhary was talking about, even earlier, there was a IG level officer. Now I am told it is an additional DG level officer who is in charge of parliament security. The entire complex, right from Parliamentary Library, Sansad South to it's a joint security parameter, and joint security committee is also there. There is, I think by Deputy Speaker it is headed. So those are all there. What they do or whether they are do or whatever it is, that's a separate thing. The question again is the highest institution of the country and which we have been priding about, the security has been breached. And about the involvement of
But Mr. Mani, I would like you to comment on what Mr. Mishra said, and I completely agree. One is the breach and the second is the response.
Response. You were there in 2001. Mr. Pramod Mahajan, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, immediately took charge and ensured the safety of not only the MPs, all the MPs in both the houses. The Parliament was in session, around 600 MPs were present. And also I was present in room number 143 in the second floor of the Parliament. All of us, immediately he took charge, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister. Here individual MPs had to, so that is number 2. See, Marshal cannot come without, as per the rules of the speaker, directions of the Speaker, he cannot come, enter the House without the express orders of the Speaker. So Speaker did not, the chair did not have the time to summon the Master, they are all parliamentary, they are all very rigorous parliamentary rules on that. Lok Sabha rules of proceedings are very rigorous on that. So on that we cannot. But immediately somebody should have taken charge of it and ensured that they are. Number 2, they were captured by the individual MPs on their own. Whether what if something sinister, much more sinister had been there. So that was a question. So these are all questions which begs an answer. Number 3 is, see, now it is coming out that that lady Neelam and others have been participating in the Kisan Andolan. Kisan Andolan also, you had a Pannu, this Khalistani footprint on this. Tapasvi, this fellow Pannu, what is that fellow? Guptavant Pannu has also threatened that 13th December I will do this. So is there an underlying connection between the two? We do not know. There should be a court for complete inquiry on that aspect of it. I am sure the intelligence agencies will also look into that part of this. That was it just not just a thing to cause a collateral damage, but to make a statement that look, Pannu has succeeded. It was simply to make a statement.
Okay, perfectly, perfect. I completely agree with you. Let me play out a couple of bites of one of the speaker and of the parliamentarians. Exactly after the situation was brought to control, they came out and spoke with the press.
Suddenly two people from the visitors galley jumped into the house. They had canisters in their hand. These canisters were emitting yellow smoke. One was attempting to run towards the speaker's chair. He was overpowered by members, and I do not know, they were shouting some slogans which I couldn't make about. But the fact that there were two people who could come into the visitors galley with canisters which could emit smoke, this smoke could have been toxic, it could have been poisonous, or it could have even been smoke bombs. We do not know, but it emitted an yellow smoke, and this is a serious breach of security, especially on 13th of December, the day in which Parliament was attacked in 2001. How much would have been the age, sir? 20 and 30, young men wearing jeans.
माननीय सदस्यगण, जो घटना शून्यकाल के समय घटित हुई थी, उस घटना की लोकसभा अपने स्तर पर संपूर्ण जांच कर रही है और इस संबंध में दिल्ली पुलिस को भी आवश्यक निर्देश दे दिए गए हैं। लेकिन जो हम सबकी चिंता थी कि वह धुआं क्या था, वह अभी तक प्रारंभिक जांच में जो जांच की उसमें वह साधारण धुआं और सनसनी फैलने वाला धुआं था, इसलिए उस धुएं की कोई ऐसी चिंता का विषय नहीं, उसकी प्रारंभिक ठीक से जांच कर ली गई है। जिन माननीय सदस्यों ने आज नियम 377 के अधीन मामलों को उठाने के एक मिनट सब आप एक मिनट प्लीज, नो, ओके नहीं एक मिनट प्लीज बालूजी प्लीज, अपन सब वरिष्ठ सदस्य हैं।
Okay. Yeah, some people jumped down from the gallery and some kind of gas they're spreading inside. In Lok Sabha? Inside Lok Sabha. क्या हुआ? Gas jumped down. Gas छिट रहा है। Some gas. जब कर बहुत सारे लोग हैं। बहुत सारे लोग। Of course I have seen. How many people were there, ma'am? Down from the gallery. How many persons? And they are trying to run and beat it. Some kind of gas is being thrown on the inside the house. किस तरह की कर रहे थे, मैम? वही लो। कुछ नारा वगैरह भी लगा रहे थे।
So obviously the members were very agitated, and we have got Shyam Singh Yadav with me. So thank you so much for joining me again. आप बता रहे थे उस वक्त, आपने ये भी बोला कि दो लोग कूद गए थे, पर श्याम सिंह जी मैं ये पूछना चाहूंगा, ये जो पूरा तांडव हुआ, ये जो पूरा उपद्रव मचाया, कितने वक्त तक ये लोकसभा में भगदड़ करते रहे कूदने के बाद? कितना टाइम लगा इनको कंट्रोल करने में?
देखिए, मुश्किल से 2-3 मिनट में कंट्रोल हो गया। और मैं एक चीज और क्लैरिफाई कर दूं, जैसे अभी आप कह रहे थे कि वो जलाने की कोशिश करते रहे, वो जलाने की कोशिश नहीं किए, उनकी डिवाइस ऐसी थी जो अपने आप वो जल गई, क्योंकि देयर वाज नो टाइम टू इग्नाइट बाय एनी मैच बॉक्स और सो, वो अपने आप वो डिवाइस जल गई। जैसे उसने जूते से निकाला वैसे अपने आप वो जल गई, और पहला वाला लड़का तो अपने आप जल गई थी और उसको घुमाते हुए पूरा स्मोक, येलो स्मोक निकल रहा था, वो कर रहा था।
रामलाल जी कह क्या रहे थे? कुछ चीख रहे थे, कुछ बोल रहे थे, ये कह क्या रहे थे सदन में, और ये भाग क्यों रहे थे चेयर की तरफ? ये लोग चेयर की तरफ क्यों भाग रहे थे? मेरी आवाज आपको सुनाई दे रही है? आपको मेरी आवाज सुनाई दे रही है श्याम सिंह जी? लगता है नेटवर्क का इशू आ रहा है। बट मिस्टर मिश्रा, ही सेड 3 minutes, बट द फैक्ट ऑफ द मैटर इज दैट 3 minutes 180 seconds इज गुड इनफ टाइम।
Yes, 3 minutes में तो कुछ भी हो सकता है। जिस तरीके से 2001 it happened, they could have massacred if building gate number 3 of Rajya Sabha, where the vice president's gate could not have been closed, and building gate number 1 and 2 could not have been closed. So things were pretty bad that day also. But all these boys, they did wonderfully well in closing the gates. But here today, it is absolutely security breach. Nothing that it was not poisonous gas. No, I don't agree with that. It was not poisonous gas. Nothing has happened. Something has happened. this will keep on happening if we don't learn from our mistake. We must have to find out whose fault are there, who all are involved, why this was practiced, and who managed it, who really planned it, how the recce was done, who made the recce, how did they jump, and where from they got this canister. Canister, you see, the smoke candles, you just open it automatically because of phosphorus, it catches fire. It could have been a poisonous gas. Let us not take it seriously, because you see, for controlling authority, one additional DG police is there. He is controlling it and having a liaison with special duty group, Delhi police, IB, and watch and ward staff. There is nothing wrong in that.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you.
There is something wrong with the frisking.
There will be a timeline which they will make. There was a timeline which was made in 2001. Evidence was collected from whatever CCTVs were there at that point of time. This time, this parliament is far more well connected in terms of CCTV. But my larger question is, how did they have this conspiracy? One. Secondly, even if they are activists, most the people who go inside parliament are vetted by the intelligence. So frisking is one part of security, intelligence is another part of the security. They are two parts of the same coin. Everything cannot be laid on the door of the people who frisk people. I think the other side is, who were these people who gain access to the parliament? You don't just get to go inside the sanctum sanctorum of the Indian democracy. And most important of all, there were two people outside, two people inside, so it was not a spontaneous action, it was premeditated. So what sort of intel that was missed? And secondly, most importantly, how were they able to breach 3 layers of security? And this is one story we are not going to go away with. We are going to be on this story, we will be asking questions, but now it's a time for a short break. And before I let go of you, please watch News9 Plus special documentary on November 26th, made by News9 Plus, and it details what happened that day, why India did not attack Pakistan despite gravest of provocation, and how it was a different India after 26/11.
The scale of the attack was something that we were surprised at. The LET, it was a kind of, we were called a joint venture of the LET and Pakistan. Interception of communications which took place during the attack confirmed this. My advice to Mr. Manmohan Singh at that point, when he asked me what are the kinds, was that till we were sure there's nothing that we could do. Bombing was certainly not even contemplated at that time. I think I've been probably the longest serving security professional, and I think I know what